Okay, I have SPSS open now, and I think I'm in version 24, which is pretty similar across the different versions. Now you can use this through USC Anywhere, which you can search the USC homepage for help if you need help getting started, and it should be available on most of the university computers. Now we can open an Excel file straight into SPSS if we tell it what to look for. So if I go to Open, and I'll just go to my desktop, and so you need to have saved the Excel files somewhere. Often it's convenient to save stuff to your desktop so you can find it quickly and then move it into a more appropriate folder later. I have here, it says it's files of type SPSS. So if it's not an SPSS file, .sav, then you need to tell it to look for, or I clicked the wrong one, Excel. So once I tell it to look for Excel, you'll see my Excel file shows up and I can say open. Now here it says read variable names from the first row of data, and this is what I want to do. And whenever you're using Excel, I recommend that you have just one row for the variable names and only one row, because then SPSS can import it easily. If you have 2 or 3 rows, which is really common, it's fine in Excel, but it makes it more difficult to import. It's going to try and detect the data types automatically, which is great. We can fix it up if it gets it wrong. Ignore hidden rows and columns, that's fine. So I'll press OK, and then we'll have a look at what it's done with it. I have noticed that in more recent versions of SPSS, it actually does a pretty good job of importing data. Just expand out some of these. So this is looking very similar to what we had in Excel, and you might notice a few things. The first is that when it comes to variable names and this special header row, it doesn't like having spaces or special characters. Now it used to be that it would have a bit of a fit if you tried to import something and it would crash or not do it for you or put something silly in there. It's actually doing quite a good job these days where it just takes out anything it doesn't like. And so instead of country space of space origin, it's just crammed it all together, country of origin, which is what we want. The other thing that you might notice is that there's a little symbol before each variable name, and this is where SPSS has made a guess at what the variable type is. So it says age type is numeric, that's correct, and measure is scale, which to SPSS is the same as being either continuous or count, discrete. So any numeric variable will turn up as being scale. We also have nominal variables, so participant numeric because it's got a number and measure is nominal. Actually this is just our participant number, so we don't really care about that. The gender, type string. Now string in SPSS means letters, so if you have letters, a string of letters, it will be called string rather than numeric, and the measure is nominal, which is correct. So what we can do, and you'll notice I haven't fixed up this time, that would be something we would need to fix up. Down the bottom here we've got what's called the data view, and this is similar to Excel, but then we also have the variable view, which gives us all that extra information. So if I had decided to code gender as 1 or 2, this is where I would change from that string to numeric. Now we can put values in here. So because I had F for female and M for male, whenever I do a graph I might prefer it if that was written out completely. So I can say if it's an F, put in female, and if it's an M, use male. And this is really convenient because you can use numbers so that you don't make spelling mistakes when you're coding your data, and then you can still have the nice labels on when you do your graphs. You can see that it's copied across the whole title into the label column, and this is the label that will show up on the graph. So if I just do a quick graph, let's have a look, say we could do a pie chart just for gender, and you'll notice that you have to drag stuff around in here, and we'll do this again next week. This is just a quick overview for those who are keen to get started. So we had more females than males, and you can see that it says female here instead of F and male instead of M because I put those codes in up here. We could also try perhaps a bar chart. So I'll go up to bar, might reset this. I'll drag the bar chart in. I'll drag the country of origin in. No, it didn't work. Hold on. There we go. And then we get our bar chart of countries. And you can see that it's put in the label country space of space origin from this column here rather than the name where it's all crammed together. So that's the difference between the name and the label. The last graph that you might like to try is just a histogram perhaps of age. So again, I'll reset that, drag the histogram in, and let's put age in. And then we can see most people are in the age range 20 to 30, and there was one older person that participated in the study. So the only things left here, we're not going to be looking at coding missing data in this course. I think this is how wide it is, so you can ignore that too. How you want it aligned, that won't really make much of a difference. What is important here is this measure. So if something is not detected correctly by SPSS, you might have to fix it up. So if it thought something was nominal but it was actually ordinal, you could just click on it there and fix it up. This last one, roll, again, we're not going to be using that just yet, so you can ignore it for now. So what you need to do is, when you're bringing something into SPSS, check the name, check the type, put in labels and values if you need them, and just check how it thinks it's being measured, where scale is the same as numeric, continuous or count or discrete, and then we have ordinal and nominal for our categorical variables.